I grew up on an upright piano. Actually, it was pretty big, concert upright called, and it was white. And then one day, I was around 13, my father brought home an Estonia Model 190. And then my mother went and played something, and that was amazing. I couldn't believe the sound. I wanted to play that piece. And that was Chopin Etude Number 1, and on a grand piano in a living room. So it was very close, and it wasn't a big room. So it was very inspiring. So my mother tells me that when she went to parents and all their meetings, they were discussing how in a music school, what can we do to make the kids more practice, where she was thinking that he's practicing or playing just too much of it. That there is no, she didn't have to push. I was interested in that. So I learned all the Chopin etudes. I played Opus 10 and Opus 25. That gives you a very good basis for pianism to go on from there. Then I started adding Liszt concert etudes to that. Then I played these different etudes, encores and here and there. And so when I ended up at Juilliard doing my master's and doctorate there, I didn't have the Estonia, the pianos that I was used to. And it was also a time quite incredible, where there was no emails, so and the post didn't quite work properly either. And so I met with a former director of the piano factory that could he take my letter back home. And then he started to discuss that they are looking for new markets, and how about American market, and there I was, and so he started to develop from there. Then in 1993-94, it was a management buyout, and the management had difficulties running it, which I quite understand, because first of all, you need a very good instrument, which at that time had to be brought a whole new level. You had to have skills and knowledge of opening markets, even going to American market. How do you do that? Where do you start? You need foreign language, you need skills, you need to understand the laws, these international businesses and all that. So me being there in America, I got heavily influenced by this American entrepreneurial spirit and approach. I think it was inspiring, simply. So I created my own company there, and I was thinking, hey, I can start bringing these instruments here and go from there. So I was looking for distributions, this, that, and I also bought some stocks here. And as the company here had more problems, I acquired more and more stocks, because I noticed that the more you own, the more you can influence the instrument as well. You can make it better, and you have more say. So, end of 90s, I ended up owning most of the shares, and then we added later on new models, which were never there. The 210, 225 were there. We did all the 190 and 274. The 168 was added earlier, so we ended up with 5 models, created the American dealer network, and went from there. So that's sort of in a nutshell. But what really influenced me was going back to this when I was 13 and hearing this grand piano. That the sound, the amazing sound that comes from there, and the musical world like opened up. And that's what I hope that our customers would feel. Change it. Yes, it's nice to have something, a keyboard, and you grow up and you play this and that, and then you go to grand, it's wow. A wash of sounds comes. I even had a fever at the time when I was learning this. I was sick and fever, it doesn't matter. It was more interesting to play this and see where you can push yourself and where is the limit. Can I do that as well? Can I play this and play all 6 etudes? How about 8? How about 10? How about 12? Whoa. So it's exciting, so, yeah. And I played also tennis. I love tennis. And I thought tennis had that elegance and sort of classic. And I had to choose either tennis or piano. And I was 13, I was sent to represent Estonia at international piano competition in Ústí nad Labem. That was, at that time, Czechoslovakia. And acquiring the first prize, I came back, and so from there on, I chose the piano. But I love tennis, so it's, I had to choose. It was too much on the hands. And so from there on, it was natural. So going to the piano was again, I was more involved in designing the instrument and making these changes here and then asking our dealers in America, good technicians there, for their suggestions how this and that should be done. So it was always a musical approach. It wasn't some kind of theoretical or engineering type of, it was always playing and looking at creating something more. Can this be nicer? Can this sustain be longer? Can this kind of amplitude go higher or that? What if we do this? So that was, and when you mentioned the soundboard, yes, that was a natural decision because it sounded better. When the sound is there, then it's not difficult to make decisions that are right.